Hello and welcome to day 3 of our Beyond Enough Summer Summit. We have had the most incredible week, and here today with us for day 3, delivering her keynote, is Hayley. And I'm not going to blab on too much. I'm going to let her introduce herself and get straight into her talk for you all. Thank you again for joining us. You can watch everything back on the Summer Summit playlist, so make sure that you do that. These women have not only brought you so much knowledge and so many takeaways, they have demonstrated the value of visibility and of connecting with other like minded women and other founders who are choosing to go beyond enough for themselves, for their families, and to rewrite their story. So here we go. Here is Hayley. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And I actually want to just kick off by saying thank you so much for setting up this summit. I said to you before, I did a summit back in April, and it is no mean feat to be doing a summit at all. So thank you so much for setting this up for us all. But yes, thank you so much for listening to my talk today. And I really want to start off before I introduce me and tell you a little bit about me and all the things that I'm going to bring you today, because let me tell you, I am dropping in some gold today, and you are definitely going to need a pen and paper. So if you don't have pen and paper handy and you're watching this on a replay, pause the recording and go and grab yourself one. Because I'm going to start today by asking you a question that I know 99.9% of you are going to go, me, have you ever felt, or do you currently feel, like the internet is the noisiest place on earth? Let's get real right now. It is so noisy, right? If you're sitting there going, yes, yes, H, that is me. Yes, so noisy, right? So noisy. Because let's be honest, we hear people saying all the time, doesn't matter where you go, online, in the emails, standing on stages, wherever, okay? Everybody's telling you that what they teach you is the thing that is going to shift the needle. It is the thing that is going to make you all of this money in such an easy way. And so on one hand, right, you've got like somebody going, it's not your strategy, it's your identity. And then on another hand, you've got somebody going, it's not your identity, it's your strategy. And then you've got like the person in the middle going, it's not either of those, it's your brand. Well, I'm here to tell you that all things are important. Business is about spinning plates. But, and I'm going to throw it out there right at the start, I'm going to tell you that none of that matters without the one thing that I'm going to teach you today. I've learnt it the hard way myself. Everything that I teach is from lived experience. And yeah, get your pen and paper ready because I'm bringing the gold. So I am going to prove to you that none of it matters. And I'm going to teach you exactly why. So before we get into it, you've got your pen and paper. You know I'm going to be teaching you the gold today. You are literally going to be able to take away the things that people pay me thousands to work with them for. But let me tell you a little bit about my story. So my story started when I was 22 and I became a mum. I was a super ambitious person. I still am a super ambitious person. But when I was 22, I had all these dreams. And then I had my little girl. And my dream was to have this real dream career and to be a mum. But nobody told me that in my life plan, I was going to have to juggle the two at such a young age. But I did, and that's cool. But then at 23, I became a single mum. I had a mortgage. I had nursery fees that were higher than my mortgage. I had a 60-hour-a-week job, and I had nobody to help me. And I look back at that time in my life and I'm like, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Obviously, yes, I had my daughter, love her. She was like the best thing ever. But the actual experience is why I am doing what I'm doing today. So I am known as the Business Simplification Strategist. I am the founder of the She's That Mum movement, and I'm a mum of three. And when I became a single mum, what that taught me was resilience in like bucket loads. And it taught me how to live life in a much more simplified way, which is exactly why my talk today is called The Power of Simplicity: How to Make More Money on Less Hours. Because guess what? That's exactly what I had to learn to do. I had to learn as a single mum how to make the money that I was earning in my really high earning recruitment role. I was earning like 5K months on less hours as a mum on my own. So I was doing all this at the age of 23. So then I want to fast forward a little bit to 2017. I'd met my now husband, everything had settled down, and I'd relocated. And my husband's a carpenter. And he came to me one day and he said, H, I want to start my own business. I want to start my own carpentry business. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. So we started a carpentry business together. Now, full disclaimer, as you could probably tell, Hayley is not a carpenter. I can demolition, but I can't fix it. That's what he's there for. But between the two of us, we put our skill set together. So my recruitment, HR background, and now fully qualified strategist at the time. And he was a carpenter. We put our skill set together and we started our own carpentry business. And we made our first 6 figures in 18 months. And people think I'm mad when I tell you it was the easiest 6 figures I've ever made in my life. I thought, this business stuff, this is easy. Oh my God, like what's everyone whinging about? Like making money is easy, right? Ah, yeah, okay. We'll see. We'll see how this story unfolds. So then we move it forward to 2023. I've had a little boy in that time. And then I just had my third little boy. And he was 6 days old. Everything was going great. I was like, yeah, okay, great. My husband was like still doing the carpentry business in the background. I was obviously on maternity leave. And I became seriously ill. And when I say seriously ill, I was so seriously ill, the doctors told my husband to come and prepare for the worst. I couldn't get out of hospital. I'd lost my eyesight. My heart rate was like elevated into the 190s. But I had every test under the sun and nobody knew why I was ill because every test come back normal. Words like heart failure and stroke was like beaming round. I was on everyone's team list because they didn't know where I was going to be placed. And it was the scariest thing I've ever been through. I've been through being a single mum, having to keep a roof over our head, juggle the dualities of ambition and parenting. And nothing prepared me for being told that we don't know how this is going to go. I was like, okay, cool. So I've got 3 kids. I'm 34 at the time, like scary stuff. And the pivotal change in my business, and this is all leading somewhere, is that I was on a ward and I was surrounded by 5 women, all sort of elderly women. You know, they had sort of had the oxygen masks on. They were beautiful. Oh my God, they were so beautiful. But there was a very big realization that at 34, I'm sitting on a ward with people that they're talking about end of life. And I looked at these women and I was like, hell no, this is not going to be my story. This isn't like, I didn't feel that that was it. That wasn't going to be my end. And so I got my iPad out. My husband had given me his iPad so I could watch films because like there's no telly in like the hospital that I was in. And I was like, right, I'm gonna get my notes app up. And if anyone's into human design, I'm a manifester. And I had like my manifester energy on hardcore, right? And I made a business plan for me because the carpentry business was amazing and it is amazing. It's still going today. It's multi six figures. It's still going today. But it wasn't my dream. And I made a business plan in about an hour. And then when my husband come in the next morning, I was like, he was like, "You're right. Yeah, how are you feeling?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm brilliant. I've started a business." And he was like, "No, you haven't." I said, "No, I have." And from my hospital bed, I started this business. I bought the domain. I'd set up my emails. My social media was started. No, I was manifesting hard. I wasn't asking permission. And I'd started this business because in that moment, I knew that I had the power to do some real good with the life that I have. And so for the first year of my business, obviously I've come from making six figures in 18 months offline to starting an online business. And in my first year in business, I made £1,600. Can you imagine? I was like, hold on a minute, what's going on? I was in a world where everyone was telling me it was my messaging, it was my identity, it was my strategy, it was my brand, it was my energy. And I'm like, but I've got energy in bucket loads if you can't tell. I'm brilliant at what I do because I was doing it anyway. And I was like, what am I missing? I was 30K down in investment. I'm a high level investor. I don't shy away from investing. So I was like, what am I missing? So I sat there and I thought, right, okay, here we go. There is something within what it is that I'm doing that I'm missing. And I don't believe that it's time because I'd already proven to myself I could create a multi six figure business in 18 months. So it wasn't time. What was it? And that thing is what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you exactly what took me from earning £1,600 in 12 months to earning 10K, having my first 10K month at month 13. And I've been growing it ever since. Because I worked out, and this is the gold, so like write this down. This is gold number one. That the way we are taught strategy and all the things that come with business actually doesn't exist. It is like it exists for the world that we lived in post 2020. All the strategies I was taught, all the things that are taught online are very, very, very put in a box is the best way that I can describe it. Every which way I looked, it was like, do it this way because this is what worked for me. But that didn't work for me. So I was like, right, okay. So what I did was I took myself off and I doubled down on what it is that I am a genius at. This is all going to become clear. I had been called in by previous coaches, previous clients. I'm like the queen of simplicity. And everyone says to me, no one can collapse time like you, H. So I was like, okay, there's something in this. Business isn't hard. People make business complicated. And when we understand that, we understand that the shiny object syndrome that we have, where we're like choosing to join every course, every program, every low ticket offer, what I tend to find, okay, and what I've found even with me, like, hi, I'm not perfect, this was exactly what I did. I was trying to piece together like a jigsaw puzzle of different jigsaw pieces, and nothing fit together. So what I did was I went away and I created my own framework. And that framework is called the Seriously Simple Success System. And this is what I'm going to teach you this. So I'm going to teach you two frameworks today that are going to change the game in your business. Number one is the Seriously Simple Success System, which is the thing that literally embodies everything I teach. It is a 3-part framework. It's all to do with strategy. So number one is like strategizing. Number two is systemizing. And number three is streamlining. So the first thing I noticed was that I don't teach strategy like anybody else on the internet. Everyone talks about mission, vision, values, why. You've got to know 100 things about your ideal client. Newsflash, you don't. And it's overcomplicating. It's overwhelming, right? The amount that we have to know. And it's not true. All you need to know is, where do your strengths lie? That's the first thing that I do with all of my clients, right? Where do your strengths lie? And when I talk about strengths, I'm not just talking about knowledge. I'm talking about the way that you communicate, your energy, your, even down to, if you're a female watching this back, your monthly cycles. We are taught so often online to hustle. You're like made to feel bad if you're not working 9 till 6. Or if you're not like super obsessed with your business. Yeah, 100% we have to be obsessed with our business to a degree. But if you're a mum like me with 3 kids, you're also super obsessed with your kids and the time that you have. But then where does that leave you time for you? Things have got to become more simple. So the first thing we do is we look at our strengths. The next thing we look at within strategy is building a business around your lifestyle. Okay, so I don't believe that your lifestyle should fit around your business. In fact, I know it shouldn't, because all that does is lead to burnout. Your business needs to be run around your lifestyle, always lifestyle first business. And then the next part to strategy that I teach is building your legacy. What is your legacy? What is your movement? What is it that you want to go out there and create within this world? Okay. Then we look at streamlining. Okay, so we know our strengths. We know that we've built a business around our lifestyle. We know what our legacy is and what it is that we want to go and change in this world. So then what we have to do is we have to streamline it. And what fits under streamlining is what I call the empire hours, or what you may know as time management. Okay, sounds really boring, but how many times have you felt so overwhelmed, like your to-do list is getting longer and longer and longer, and you're literally sitting there and all you do is push down the stuff that you just don't want to do? It's important, i.e. tax returns. It's really important to do, but you just don't want to do it, right? And then you just end up working and spending all your time on Canva because it feels good, it feels productive, but it actually doesn't shift the needle in your business. So then we start looking at your empire hours. How does your empire, because that's what you're building, right? You're building a legacy, you're building an empire. How does your empire work in the simplest form? Canva is the thing I always put off. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And then when you've got that, this is gold, write this down. You build your 6-figure offer suite. Here's what I see so often. People think and believe, because this is what the internet makes them believe, that they need to have all these offers, that you need to have like 12 offers, because let's be honest, the more offers you have, the more you're likely to sell, right? Wrong. Hayley says wrong. It's don't. If you have more than 5 offers in your offer suite, something is going wrong. It is too overcomplicated. You don't need it. To make serious money, you don't have to have a really large audience, and you don't have to have massive amounts of offers. And I'm going to teach you exactly why as we go through this talk today. And then we teach you all about your 5-star customer experience. But that's a talk for another time. Because let's be honest, we want all our customers to have 5-star experiences with us, right? And then we look at systemizing. So we've got this legacy, we know where our strengths lie, we've got this, we've got the lifestyle first approach going. We're working to our own time scales that feel really good, so we're not burnt out, we're always in our energy. We've got our 6-figure offer suite, so it's bringing in constant money. Then we have to systemize that, okay? And then what we do is we get the back office, the back end of our business, working harder than our front end. So every Friday we can have a spa day, or you can have a day for you. You can go out with friends. You can do whatever you want, because the back end of your business is bringing in the revenue, while you at the front end is working 2 days a week and the rest done. I'm a mum of 3 with 2 businesses, and I work 2 days a week. People are like, how the hell do you do it? And that's where we're going to bring it to now. So that is like my overarching framework. And now I'm going to teach you how you can do this too. I'm going to teach you my mastery method. And this is what I teach all of my high proximity clients to start with. Because let me tell you, I don't care where you are in business, whether you're right at the very beginning or you're like 5 years in and you're making multi 6 figures. Every single person in business has the same problems. People come to me with the exact same issues all of the time, telling me the same things all the time. You just have it in different levels. But the underpinning, everyone comes with the same problems. So the mastery method, again, has 3 different points. Okay. And if you approach your business with this mastery method, I can guarantee you this is the exact method that took me from making nothing to making 5-figure months like that. Number 1 is macro. So write this down. The mastery method, number 1, macro. This is where you have to discover, you have to know your ideal client, or what I love to call my legacy level clients, high-end problems. Now, 9 times out of 10, your ideal clients' high-end problems are going to be one of 3 things: time, wealth, and health. It will sit somewhere within those 3 categories. If you can fix one of those 3 things, people will pay you thousands for that, for those things. But it's not enough to just think, okay, cool. So I'm a strategist, so I save people time and I make people money. Great. That's what I have to do. Wrong. That makes you vanilla. And we don't do vanilla in my world. We stand out. So when you look at your clients' high-end problems, it is the thing that your clients come to you with, the problem that your ideal clients come to you with the most. So let me give you an example. If you're a social media manager, and I'm really sorry, I am going to pick on the social media managers because I find this example, like the easiest thing when I'm training. I've got nothing against social media managers. I love you. But you've got the easiest example in this situation. So if you're a social media manager, right? Your ideal clients come to you and they say, I am struggling for visibility. I'm showing up every day. I'm posting on social media. I'm in my stories. I'm sharing my behind the scenes. I'm I'm doing all the sales psychology out there. I'm problem aware, da 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 da, and nothing's happening. Nobody's dropping into my DMs. It's like crickets. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Then you, as the social media manager, are going to look at that person and you're going to look at their stuff, their social media. Okay, you're going to go onto their Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And say, for example, you went, okay, I can see exactly where you're going wrong. The gap in your business is your messaging. Okay, great. So that then takes us on to point two. Point two is micro, and I want you to write that down. Macro, your ideal clients' high end problems. Okay, down into micro, which is your super specific micro solutions. Your micro solutions. Macro, your ideal clients' high end problems, and micro, your micro specific solutions. So when your ideal client comes to you with the problem, you look at it and you go, okay, I recognize where you're going wrong. Your problem is messaging, for example. That's your micro specific solution. That's the thing that's going to move the needle in their business. That's amazing. And we all do it, right? So my ideal client comes to me, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, my business isn't making money, I've done everything, like I've worked on my identity, I've worked on my strategy, my branding's on point. Why isn't this working? I take one look at someone's business and I'm like, it's overcomplicated. Let's just simplify that down. But that alone isn't enough because all that does is you start telling people and selling your job title. Nobody is paying you for your job title. That's gold in itself. Ding ding, write that down. Light bulb moment. No one is paying 4 or 5 figures for your job title. There is 100 people doing what you do on the internet right now. So why should anybody come to you? And it's not, people don't pay people just because they're the loudest. You don't have to have a big audience. You don't have to stand on multiple stages. You don't have to literally shout from the rooftops to be noticed and to be paid 5 figures. So what is it that people are missing? And that takes us on to point three. Write this down. Mastery. Your mastery of your micro specific solution to your ideal client's high end problem is the thing that takes you from being ignored and not paid to being known and paid overnight. It's literally taken my clients, and I will tell you this, it's done it for me and it's done it for my clients. So I've replicated this so many times and it works. That is why I'm telling you to write this down, because if I can do anything for you today, for you to take time to listen to me, I want you to go away and make money. Your mastery of your micro specific solution is the thing that people pay you for. So let me give you an example. We've got the social media manager. Somebody's come to you and said, I can't get my social media is not working. I'm putting all this time and effort in. I'm playing around on Canva. I'm sending it out. My messaging's on point. My branding's on point. I'm putting the energy in. I really feel it. I love it. Why are people still not paying me? and you look at them and you go, okay, my micro specific solution is that your messaging isn't where it should be. Okay, fine. So then why do people pay you? It's because of your mastery, and your mastery sits in your frameworks, in the way that you teach it. You teach it in your own unique way. Your mastery comes from your knowledge, from your strengths. And this is why going back to my first framework is why we talk about strengths. Because if all you're doing is piecing together bits of other people's strategies, bits of knowledge that you've got from XYZ, and trying to create some form of strategy, some form of brand, some form of identity, you sound like everyone else. When you double down on what it is that you alone are absolute genius at, your mastery comes from that. And when you nail your mastery and you put it into frameworks and you go out and teach it, everything becomes clear. It's amazing, right? So your messaging becomes clear because it's coming from your strengths, your mastery. No one can take that away from you. No one can replicate what you know. No one can replicate something that you have created. And please don't go do this on ChatGPT. I can't tell you how often I hear people go, I know exactly what my mastery is now. ChatGPT told me. No, it didn't. I can tell you now it didn't. There'll be gaps in it. This has to come from you. Your brand voice comes from it. The words that you use. So I use things like legacy level leader, empire hours, six-figure offer suite, simplicity. Okay. Everyone right now online, right? I'm going to be really honest about this. Online right now, simplicity is like the buzzword. Everyone's talking about simplifying things. But what they talk about is simplifying your funnels, simplifying your social media, simplifying XYZ. But then that just overcomplicates it because then nothing else is simplified. When you truly simplify your business, truly, it's because you're sitting in your mastery, nothing else. And then you go out into the world and you teach your mastery. All of a sudden, you become like convicted in exactly what it is, that conviction, that self-belief, that confidence oozes into everything that you're doing because you know your stuff. Someone can come along and give you a soapbox and a microphone, and you could sit there and you could reel off everything and you could change the game for somebody overnight. No more shiny object syndrome. No more joining low cost offer things because thinking that this is going to be like the number one thing that's going to change the game for me. If I just do my messaging, if I just work on my branding, if I just. The truth is, every single thing that people teach has its place, but it has to link with your mastery, nothing else. So when your ideal client comes to you, you're like, got this, done. When my clients came to me and they joined my core offer, Seriously Simple Success, seeing a theme here, Seriously Simple Success, a lot of them come to me not making a penny. And it's like there was two that came to me and I was like, if you can't get me to make money and simplify my business for me, like I'm just going to give up. Like I literally can't do it. So they came to me earning nothing. And by 8 weeks, they'd made their low four-figure investment back. They've got a return on investment and they've gone on to continue to make that money just by doing the work that I'm teaching you today. When I tell you it's worked for me and it's worked for my clients, it's gold. So if you do nothing else with this talk, I want you to go away and work on your strengths. What is your strengths? Where does your mastery lie? And that's not just the knowledge that's in your head, but the way you communicate. What personal experiences have you had? And then I want you to go away and think of the micro solutions within that. And here's some more gold for you. Before you go away and start making a list of all the micro solutions that you have, I want you to breathe and stop, because you don't need more than 3 micro solutions. I've got like 3, some clients only have 2, to go out there and make massive amounts of money. Because the best bit of advice I can give you with anything that you do within your business is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I can teach messaging. I can teach branding. I can teach XYZ. Doesn't mean I should, because that's not where my mastery lies. You need to become known for the 1 or 2 things that you do. So it might be messaging and funnels. It might be branding and social media. It might be, I don't know, strategy and messaging, or whatever it might be, right? But if you're trying to be everything to everyone, you are going to overwhelm yourself. You are going to drop the ball. And you can have the best identity in the world, but let me tell you right now, you start dropping that ball, that identity is going to take a plummet, because you're not going to believe. You're going to be like, there's something wrong with me, and it's not you. It's the way that your business is pieced together. Providing that you can literally go out there and solve your ideal clients' high-end problems with your micro solutions. By showing them your mastery, you will be paid tens of thousands of pounds. Believe me. And before you start sitting there going, yeah, I know, but I'm not making that sort of money. So who am I to go out there and show them my mastery if I'm not making that money myself? How many times have I heard that? And how many times was that me when I first started in my business? Right? I used to literally be that person that when I first started, I was like, yeah, no, I've made 6 figures, but that was in a totally different sector. Like, who am I to go out there and do it? I literally, let me tell you a quick story, right? No word of a lie. I went to my first ever networking event, was with a multi 7-figure business owner. She was putting on a networking event. I was in her membership and I went along. And I walked in with all these like multi 6, multi 7-figure business owners, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, I'm so and so. I do XYZ." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Hayley, and yeah, I'm just a strategist." Can I tell you how well I was ignored? I was so ignored because I didn't own it, right? I didn't believe in what I was doing because I didn't know my mastery. But once I figured out where my mastery lied, oh my God, I was like, give me a soapbox and a microphone and I'm away, right? Because here's the thing, nobody knows what you know in the way that you know it. So remember, regardless of what you're earning currently, I don't care whether you're brand new, multi 6-figure business owner trying to get to 7, you're going to have the wobbles, right? Providing you know your mastery, you have your unique avenue into it, the results and everything else, it comes. We don't need to be overcomplicating business for anything. So before I wrap up today, I would love to invite you to come over to my Instagram if this has resonated with you in any which way, and drop me the word. So my Instagram is at Hayley Keeber Strategist. And I want you to drop into my DMs and drop the word simple, because I've got a completely free training, 4-day training for you that is going to take what I've taught you today and actually get you to implement it in a much more simple way. So thank you, Amy, for setting this up for us. And I will see you all very soon.
Ah, Haley! She brought it. She brought it.
Energy!
Energy. Do you know what I have loved so much about each of these talks is that I think we are, and each and every one of you is demonstrating, come away from the noise. There's
Yeah,
so much noise out there. There's so much, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Um, and as someone who coaches women on this every single day, it's so disempowering to
oh,
tell people what to do all the time. This strategy, this, just do this. And each and every one of you, and honestly, like I've got chills, like the energy is so incredible, is putting the power back in the hands of every single woman watching this and saying, you are at the center. You
mm,
get to choose. You get to choose to discover your mastery. It doesn't always happen overnight, right? But like once you
100%.
tune, yeah, once you tune into what makes you tick, everything changes.
Yeah, it's about getting really specific,
Mhm.
right? Really specific. So once you work that out and then you teach it in your own unique way, you're different to everyone else out there. All of a sudden, you're like an authority and a leader, and without even having to listen to anyone else, you can post your stuff on social media and you can just switch it off because it doesn't matter.
Once you get, I swear, that's my favorite part of it. I think once I started to nail in all of this for myself was being able to like just post stuff or, put whatever I wanted to put out into the world and
Mm,
know it was doing its job. And I think once you get to that state and flow, like you say, then things do become so much more simple.
100%.
You've
100%. You don't
tuned out
question everything you do.
100%. You've tuned out to all the noise and all the you should be, you need to, blah blah blah, and you're just doing your own darn thing.
hmm Yeah. And
Gorgeous.
then all of a sudden, you don't have to be working like a crazy person because you just systemize what you know works. You turn up when you want to turn up and
Job's a good one.
paid.
Honestly, thank you so much. And so much of your journey resonates so deeply with me, and I know so many of the women watching this as well. And I think becoming a single mum for me was the catalyst for so much change, even though it was, like you said, the hardest time.
Mm,
It
yeah.
really helps you pin down what's important to you. And I think for so many of us, it's not spending all day, every day at a laptop and getting well
Yes.
paid for our expertise and being able to live a life around that, right?
100%. 100%. Because ultimately, like I shared in my story, like when I saw those people in that hospital bed, it was like, well, that's the end anyway. So make it good, right? Change lives, make it good. Don't be afraid to do it and just go out and just do it. Like it's the best thing.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for joining us here
You're
today.
welcome.
I will link all of Haley's. I've got Haley and Keeber and smushed them together there.
Yeah, so many people do that. It's fine.
I
I
did.
become Hayley.
I know. We've got all of Haley's information linked below so that you can go and contact her on Instagram. Go send her a message, get her simplicity method, and we will see you all in the next Beyond Enough Summer Summit session.